This is episode 53 of the Out of the Minds podcast. I'm Sean Oakley.
And I'm Sam Cooper, and we're back with my top 16 of the
Yeah,
Kyber Cup.
continuing your Kyber run.
Yeah, we're still in it
Congratulations
so
on
far.
congratulations on making top 16.
Yep.
Right, I'll let you jump straight in, Sam.
Yeah, so again, I'm using my Kyber list, Vizsla Grievous, four Vulture Drones. I've got to stop calling them Trade Feds. They actually have names now. Four Vulture Drones.
Well, two of them do.
Two of them have names, and two of them are generic. But hey. And my opponent is bringing First Order. Now, if you have been following this podcast, you'll know that the only time I've lost in Kyber was to First Order, so I wasn't particularly happy with that being my matchup. And this is, oh my god, I'm going to horribly annihilate this name. Juan Sebast... I'm going to say Kinche. I'm really sorry. Purple Dragon is his Discord name. I'm probably butchered his name.
I'm not even going to attempt to help you out there because I feel like I will butcher it worse than you will.
So I'm just going to apologize, please. Yeah, I'll just leave it like that. And he's running First Order. Like I said, he's got Ember in the TIE BA with Predator, Fanatical, and Cluster Missiles. Backdraft in the TIE SF with Fanatical, Fire Control System, Targeting Synchronizer, and Special Forces Gunner. Recoil in the Silencer with Fanatical, Stencer Scramblers, and Cluster Missiles. Malorus in the TIE FO with Marksmanship and Cluster Missiles. And Nightfall in the TIE Whisper with Fanatical, Cluster Missiles, Pattern Analyzer, and Enhanced Jamming Suite. So if you've detected a theme, it's Cluster Missiles.
Clusters.
Which doesn't make me particularly happy, if I'm going to be brutally honest.
I mean, I think so long as you keep your droids separated enough.
Yeah.
You should be okay.
Yeah. So, I win priority. And so we're playing Sensor Scrambler, or Scramble the Transmissions, or whatever it is. So there's only 3 objectives. And I place mine basically 2 and 2 in my opponent's top right corner, because I'm like, he's a bunch of fast ships. If one of his ships hangs back, that's fine by me.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And maybe I can buy a little bit more time, and one of my drones can swoop past and just quietly claim it. Then he places his objective on the left-hand side, as far up towards him as he can, like quite on the far left. And I can't quite remember exactly which way these rocks were put down, but we essentially end up with a bit of a U shape around the center objective.
Yeah.
As I am doing my usual strategy of place a rock next to an objective so a vulture droid can go and sit on it. And my opponent dots a couple of rocks, mostly on my side of the board, basically trying to clear some space for his fast ships. And it's interesting. So I'm weirdly perfectly all right with this because I've got a bunch of trick shot rocks for my Vizsla. Even if I am going to have a little bit of trouble actually navigating through to the center of the board. But again, I have first player for this round, so it's all of my ships and then all of my opponent's ships. So I very literally scatter my entire list across the length of my side of the table. I put one Howard Charl in the dead center. He's going to go towards the dead center rock and claim that objective. Another Howard Charl on the left, and he's going to go directly towards a rock next to the left-hand objective and claim it. Vizsla then deploys on the far left, with the idea that he's going to go forwards and then try and bank in towards the center of the board and engage the enemies there. And my 2 separatist drones, one goes towards the center, just to back up the other one, and the other one deploys on the very far right-hand side, and Grievous is deployed next to him. And the idea is that if my opponent doesn't deploy their stuff directly opposite them, they're just going to whiz up the side of the board and try and flank. However, if you are watching the YouTube, you will in fact see that my opponent's entire list is basically opposite Grievous and the Separatist drone.
With the exception of...
Recoil,
Silencer.
the Silencer. So Recoil is deployed in the top left, at a 45-degree angle in the very corner, leaving his options open, so he can come dive on my droid or run away from Vizsla.
4-5 straight, boost which way
4-5 straight, boost which way he needs. Yeah, he's got lots of options. The Whisper is on the far right with Ember, facing off against Grievous, my Separatist drone, and Backdraft and Malorus are on the right-hand side, but near the center, and they can just literally come down into the center of the board and start wailing away with cluster missiles. With a Backdraft who does not have cluster missiles. But either way, I am not taking this joust with Grievous and a Separatist drone because I did it last time and it didn't go well.
I was going to say, I don't blame you on that one.
So I will start the clock and suddenly glitch everything, but it's all good. But basically, yeah, like I said, my right hand side, I turn in Grievous and the Separatist drone, but you will shortly notice that I forgot which turns I put in on them, which is going to be hilarious. But everyone else basically moves forward. I try and get on the rocks in the center of the board and calculate, and Vizsla starts moving towards the center.
Do you two hard the drone and then one hard Grievous?
Yeah.
Whoops.
So I know they got jam. So my Howard Child 5 straight doesn't quite hit the rock I want to. So I barrel roll out to the left and don't link it just to make sure I'm not stressed. And then the other Howard Child and a Separatist drone, they do, I believe, 4 or 3 straights towards the center of the board. And they both take target locks on random rocks because I know he's got a Whisper, which means jam is a thing. Then I do a 2 hard with the far right Separatist drone, and he takes a target lock instead of barrel rolling like a sensible person because normally you know what moves you're about to dial in. And then Vizsla does a 3 bank towards the center, just nicely avoiding the rock, and he will take a focus.
That's nice, actually, because that looks like that's given the gauntlet a nice straight into the center there.
That is the plan. So Recoil is cloaked thanks to Sensor Scramblers, and he just does a 2 straight, and I believe he just focuses. No, he barrel rolls. So I already know he's angling to come and murder my poor Howard Child prototype. And the rest of the first order list basically does 3 straights and target locks. With the from Ember, who does a 1 bank. And he's basically and barrels. He's setting up to capture the objective next turn. The Whisper does another straight and boosts into a jam because he can jam himself. Then Grievous bumps into the back of the Separatist drone with a 1 hard, takes no damage, luckily. And ironically, were this 2.0, I'd have been like, yeah, that was intentional because it just keeps Grievous pointing that way. Bloody, bloody, blah. But obviously in 2.5, with the bumping rules, hell no, this wasn't intentional. I just forgot to change what moves everyone was doing.
Yeah, that intentional bumping rubbish, that's not going to fly this time.
And yeah, so Malorus, everyone moves it. Like, basically, there's a lots of asteroids with locks on. And that is the end of turn 1. My opponent won priority, which is why Grievous moved after Ember and a couple of the other ties. But onwards we ride, and I have a pretty easy turn.
Like, you jump onto rocks, right?
Pretty much, yeah. So this is an interesting turn because I don't actually like where the center 2 vultures have ended up so much.
Oh, really?
And I do a lot of thinking because I don't like the angle they're going to end up at. And
Surely
Vizsla's coming down.
Surely yellow does a 2 straight. Because that'll stick you on the rock, but out of Vizsla's way. Green. Do they have a 1 bank?
No, they don't.
Okay, so the 1 bank's out for jumping on the rock. I mean, I honestly, I think that depends on how fast you want to go with Vizsla.
Because in my mind, Vizsla wants to do like a 4 straight here.
Oh, in which case, I think you just do something like a 2 straight with green as well. Stick to the side of the rock and come in behind.
Yeah. So I wasn't sure. I basically the most thing I wanted to avoid was Vizsla bumping, which is why I dial in the moves I do. But I'm not super happy with the angle I ended up approaching the enemies because whilst the Howard Child sure would be able to shoot, I want the green Separatist drone to be launching his Discord missile ASAP essentially.
Yeah.
And if he's going straight and the enemy, I assume, is either maybe banking slowly or coming straight, he's going to be out of luck. And I have a choice with the other Howard Child is I can try and face recoil, or I can do what I do is I just do a 2 hard to the right and say if the silencer comes to kill me, he comes to kill me.
Yeah.
Because once I get on the rock, I'm happy, and if I survive being on the rock for a turn, even better. But I'm pretty sure I'm trying to basically catch out Malorus or Backdraft with Fizzler as soon as I can, and just try and start launching some heavy hits.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I do a lot of looking at this move in the center, and I take what I'm going to call the risky play.
Okay. Oh, please tell me you don't start jumping rocks with droids.
No.
Okay. I was gonna say like 3 hard. You can't do.
And on the far right, I believe I do a 3 hard to the right with the Separatist drone, and then with the intention of to get in the way. And Grievous, I think, just does a 2 straight. Either way, my opponent wins priority, so Grievous moves last, except for Malorus. He decloaks forwards. I assign a Zam card. My Howard Child just says, I don't care where recoil's going, and rolls onto the rock and takes a...
That's nice.
Yes, takes a claim on the far left objective. And then my yellow Howard Child does a 2-bank, lands on the rock, like... There's a little more. There was a little more on the rock than I thought there might be. I'll admit.
I mean, honestly, that's still good judgment because if that was probably 3 mils further forward, you're off the rock.
Yeah. But lands on the rock and claims the objective. And so now I do a 2-bank with the other center thing. This is what I wanted to clear space for him to do, was do a 2-bank, so his Discord missile is facing towards the enemy.
Yeah.
And he just does a calculate. And then I do a 3 hard and just a regular calculate, no barrel roll. Then Fizzler does a 4 straight and focuses. And my opponent starts moving. So Ember does a 1 straight. He takes a strain and target locks the blue droid, who's just in range, and then claims the objective. Stupid double action, people. Backdraft does a 4 straight.
Ooh, okay.
And I'm secretly thinking, ooh, I think I've got you. He takes a target lock. I can't remember when he locked in the end. I think he locks. Yeah, he locks the Howard Child prototype with no calculate. Whisper does a 2-bank, and I believe barrel rolls into a jam. Oh, no, but he just barrels and jams himself. And I did actually question this because I did say he could. I was pretty sure he could jam the Vulture droid.
I was going to say that looks range 2 in the bullseye.
But he chooses not to. And I think the reason is because he wants to have the extra dice for if Grievous has a shot.
That's fair, because got to have it obviously in the arc.
Yeah.
So
because I can't make because the enhanced jamming suite is you get an extra green dice if I don't have a green token or for every jam ship
in the arc, right?
Yeah, so he's making sure he gets an extra green dice against the potentially outmaneuver shot. Because yes, I don't do a 2 straight. I do a 2-bank because I call the bluff that the FO is turning in, and I'm slightly wrong, but not that wrong. Either way, Recoil, I believe, does a 2-bank and is now directly behind the Howard Child prototype. He takes a target lock. And then Grievous does a 2-bank, as at a slightly weird angle thanks to the bump, but it comes in handy because I barrel roll to the right and focus.
Does the barrel roll fit? Because that'll get you an outmaneuver.
And then Malorus does a 2-bank towards Vizsla, and I believe takes a target lock. So, cluster missiles incoming.
Green's one of the ones with a Discord, right?
Yes, green and blue have Discords. Can you guess what I'm about to do?
3-bank to the left with green. I wonder if that clips.
So blue launches a Discord missile onto Scorch.
Yeah, of course.
As does green.
You go both ways. Okay.
And it goes directly under. So yeah. So Scorch now has Backdraft has 2 Discord missiles on him. So the number one objective I have is to remove those shields. That's basically all I want to do. So interestingly enough, Malorus didn't take a target look. She took an evade. Then she pops a charge to make all her focuses super awesome. And she shoots into the Howard Child on the far left.
Okay.
doesn't do a whole lot. Then recoil.
That's an interesting choice.
Yeah, recoil gets hit, crit, crit, and a blank. Spends the target lock on the blank and turns it into a focus against the Howard Child, and I get 2 evades. So first is a direct hit. The only one that goes in is a direct hit. So Howard Child number red has taken 2 damage. Then the Whisper shoots into my blue Separatist drone and puts a hit and a crit through, which immediately takes him out. So bam, 2 points to the FO. But the Discord missile got launched.
Yeah. Which is the important bit.
Yeah. Scorch has a range 1 shot into my Howard Child. He rolls hit, focus, focus, blank, spends the target lock for a second hit, and I get 1 evade, so I take a damage. Then Ember has a range 3 shot. Luckily for me, the guy that Ember target locked is already dead, so this is just no mods. Gets a single crit, and I get a single evade. Grievous goes into the Whisper. Outmaneuver. Reverie rolls 2 hits, and the Whisper rolls 2 focuses, so bam bam, shield's gone. And then it's my I3. My Separatist drone launches an unmodded shot into Backdraft, so obviously rolls 2 hits. 1 goes through. Now, Vizsla really wants to shoot Malorus because it's range 1. But Malorus has popped her charge.
Yeah, I think you go into Backdraft.
Yeah. So I go into Backdraft here, range 2. Vizsla ability, so I have 4 dice. I have a focus token. I get hit, focus, blank, blank. Spend the focus for 2, and Scorch and Backdraft takes 1. And then the Howard Child. By the way, oh no, wait, not this turn. This turn, the Howard Child got shot by Backdraft, so no ability. But had my blue drone survived, I should have remembered that the Howard Child ability works. Anyhow, I get nothing, and then I take a random range 3 shot with the last Howard Child into Malorus, but I'm not expecting anything because she has an evade token. All her focuses are evades and 3 dice, so she rolls 2 evades. And so far, after the first round of shooting, I then do crit into Backdraft with the Discord missiles, and I think it's damage sensor array is the crit I land. So at the end of turn 2, I scored 2 points for objectives. He scores 1, and he's got 2 points for killing a Vulture Droid. So 3-2 at the end of turn 2.
Okay, but Backdraft's
in trouble.
Is going over one of the buzz droids.
Yeah. So I actually can't remember what I do 100% here. I'll be honest. I think.
I mean, Red surely stays where he is, facing where he is.
Yes.
Calculates.
I'm pretty sure I turn the center 2 droid down towards the bottom right of the board, trying to line up where I think Backshaft will go.
Yeah.
I think Grievous does a 2 bank in, hoping that Nightfall in the Whisper will just move before him.
And if not, Ember's up there.
Yeah. And I think Vizsla does like a 1 bank to the right.
Yeah.
Because Ember and the Whisper are both sort of in that area.
Yeah, it makes sense. And then you've got the Silencer behind you for your Veteran Tailgunner.
Yeah. And I'll let this run through, but I'm feeling all right. As long as I can maintain the damage and I don't like bleed all the drones. But hey, Fanatical online for Backdraft.
Nice. Got to love Fanatical.
Yeah, so I'm just if you're seeing on the YouTube thing, I'm not much to say, but my opponent's just asking how the buzz droids work exactly, and I was like, well, you're leaving the back one behind, but the front one you'll roll over, and I get to place on either the front or the back. And he's just deciding what's going on. This is like quite a long planning phase, I believe, because there's lots. This is like everything is going. And I think, I win first player, so it's all me. So I rotate. So the center 2 Vulture droids rotate 90 degrees to the right, so they're facing to the bottom right corner of the board. and they both calculate. My Howard Charl on the far left just stays exactly where he is and calculates. He's fully expecting Malorus to roll up and pop him, but that's just the way it goes. Vizsla does a 1 bank and does not bump, so takes focus. Grievous does a 2 bank, does bump, and I just take a red focus because I'm pretty sure Ember's going to be where I want to shoot him. Scorch does a 3 sloop. Or is that a 2 sloop? I think it's a 2 sloop. So I place the Buzz Droid on the front of Scorch because I want Scorch to just not shoot it, and I see that Vizsla and a Howard Charl are targets. Sorry, I want Scorch to have the option to shoot it, and if he thinks that the Buzz Droid is going to kill him, I just want him to try and take it off. The Whisper does a 2 straight, and I believe is about to boost Jam or focus or something like that. No, target lock. Yeah, sorry, it takes a target lock onto the Buzz Droid. So in my head, the Buzz Droid's going to die before doing anything. That's what he did. Yeah, he target locks the Buzz Droid, which is interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting.
I think just didn't want to go into range of the vultures where as is. Like right now, the vultures have good shots, and just didn't want to boost and risk hitting the Buzz Droid.
Yeah, that's. I was wondering, looking at that, whether a boost clips them or not.
So recoil does a 2 hard. I think thinking that I was going to leave the rock with the Howard Charl, so hilariously, the Howard Charl has a great shot into recoil.
Yeah.
Takes a target lock onto my Separatist drone on the rock. I think, yep. And then boosts towards him. So, hey, Howard Charl trigger. I have a Howard Charl and someone else is in the bullseye, so maybe target lock. Anyway, moving on. Ember does a 1 bank towards Grievous. And I believe is going to take a strain to barrel to the left and then boost around. Very nicely.
Nice.
Doing the nice work. Malorus has a 2 bank towards my Howard Charl, takes a target lock onto him, and at start of engagement will use her charge to get all her focuses are hits. So I've already mentally killed off the Howard Charl prototype.
Yeah, that's great for killing off that one drone, but I'm not entirely sure that's the most efficient use of Malorus's 2 charges
there. Anyway, rolls hit focus. I get 1 evade. I take 2 damage. The Howard Charl is dead. Like, it's just what it is. Vulture Droid's going to die. But my hope is I'm going to get some serious pain in return. So Grievous has no shot. Well done, Ember. You successfully dodged it. So now the rest of the FO. Scorch has, I believe, goes into Vizsla here. Sorry, not Scorch. Backdraft goes into Vizsla. An extra dice thanks to the Special Forces Gunner. Rolls 2 hits. I get blank evade. So I take a shield, get a Zam charge, acquire a lock onto Backdraft. Recoil goes into my Separatist drone, spends the target lock, and only gets 1 hit in return. I get 1 focus, spend the calculate to dodge it completely, so I'm getting kind of lucky on the life here. And then sends a second cluster missile into the Howard Charl, and I take no damage from it. Then the Whisper shoots into the Buzz Droid, gets 2 crits and a focus, and so I say, well, I'm dead anyway, so bam, the Buzz Droid is dead.
Yeah.
Ember goes into Grievous, gets 2 hits. I roll 2 evades out of hand.
Nice.
Vizsla takes a range 2 trick shot into the Whisper.
Yeah. Nice. Ability online? No, you've only got 1 charge.
No ability online, but 4 dice thanks to trick shot into 4 dice. Because sorry, I think it's into 3 dice because I do actually still have a token.
I was gonna say
I get 2 hits and 2 blanks.
No. I was gonna say focus versus unmodded.
Yeah. So he rolls 1 evade, so 1 goes through, and then I veteran tail gunner into recoil because I just don't think I'm going to damage Malorus through her ability. It is unfortunately range 2, and I spend the focus to get 1 hit, and recoil says nope. So my Separatist drone shoots into Scorch and just puts 2 damage through and kills him. Then the Howard Charl shoots into Nightfall, gets 2 hits out of hand, which kills Nightfall.
Oh, nice.
So I've killed back. I keep calling Backdraft Scorch for some reason. I think it's because I can see the art and there's just loads of flames.
Backdraft's expected. I have to admit, the Whisper going down there was a little unexpected.
Yeah, but on the flip side, though, it was one of those things where it was like, but actually, had no mods. It's one of those weird things. Like had no mods, took a trick shot from Vizsla.
Yeah.
Admittedly, the Howard Child just rolling 2 hits out of hand. Sure, like I think definitely. I actually think odds are the Whisper should have taken 1 less damage. I reckon that is my gut feeling on odds.
Yeah.
Because I had a half modded shot into the Whisper against no mods on defense, and then an unmodded shot into the Whisper, no mods on defense. So hard to. Like I said, I have no hard math on the matter. It's just my feeling is I should have done some damage, but not that much damage. But either way, I'm feeling quite good. It is 12-6 to me. I have 2 of the objectives, although I'm pretty sure I'm about to lose at least 1 of them because Malorus is heading unopposed towards the far side.
But by the same token, Malorus is off that way, stressed to not turning around and shooting you.
Yeah.
Curious you turned green that... Okay, that's why you turned green that way.
Yeah. So, I took a gamble and I didn't think that... I thought that recoil is gonna be convoluted. I thought that my opponent would think that the gauntlet was going to keep on moving to go after Ember. So I thought that the recoil might disengage for a turn and try and rearrange. So I turned that way just to try and head off recoil turning away and regrouping with Malorus.
Yeah.
In hindsight, it's actually going to turn out to be a terrible idea. But and Grievous just has a 3-stroke to clear the stress because he has a plan. He's going for that top right objective, and no one can stop him.
Yep, makes sense.
But he does do a barrel roll into a focus just in case, because I know that the Barons can be really tricky. I didn't want to risk the Baron doing like a 1 hard barrel roll focus.
Yeah.
And I wasn't expecting to have to. I basically, my expectation was a 2 straight next turn from Grievous is absolutely fine. At this point, I just need to prevent my big ships from dying. But Recoil does a 2 hard straight into Vizsla, so I will have no shots with the Vulture Droids this turn.
That's fair. That's a. I mean, me personally, I think I might have turned one way and one the other, but
yeah, I thought about that afterwards, and I was like, yeah. But so Recoil just takes a red focus, just on the off chance that Vizsla gradually does something. Then the Baron does a 2 bank.
I think I wouldn't have bothered with the red focus there.
Yeah, because I can see that as well.
It leaves your options much more open for the next turn.
Well, the thing is, as Liam has said, quoted to me, "I'm a silencer. I don't care about stress."
I mean, but they still do, because otherwise you're doing a straight or a 2, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
So...
But at the same time, where he's lined up, like Grievous's next move is pretty obvious.
Well, yeah, I suppose.
And where he's lined up, you can just go straight after Grievous here. Anyway, Ember does a 2 bank down towards the bottom of the board, clearing the strain, and is quite happy. Just does a boost, like he's only taking a trick shot out the back for Vizsla. Malorus does a 2 straight and claims the objective. So now my opponent has 2 objectives and I have 1, but that's soon going to be remedied.
You've got enough of a buffer to survive that for a couple of rounds anyway.
So Ember shoots into my last remaining Howard Child, rolls a single crit and 2 blanks. I get evade focus, so I'm fine. Recoil shoots range 0 into Vizsla, gets a single crit. I roll 1 evade. Trigger Zam, get a charge, acquire lock onto Recoil. So then I go range. Here's the thing. I go range 3 into Malorus because I can trigger Vizsla here.
Yeah. Oh.
And Veteran Tailgun, because I could do that off the range 0 into Recoil.
Yeah.
But my thought is Malorus is shields down, no token, and Recoil has a token. So I thought, actually, rolling 4 dice into 4 into 4 where I have a mod is probably better.
See, I get the range 3. I would have ummed and ahed about actually using Vizsla's ability though on the veteran tail gunner out the back into Ember.
Yeah, it's one of those.
But
this is one of those things where I actually don't know. I probably actually now I'm looking at the list. I probably should have said just going into Ember because Ember is more expensive. But I was like, if I can just clean up Malorus.
I mean, that's fair. If you can,
yeah. I mean, I say clean up Malorus, like just she has no mods. Her ability's offline. This is like the best time to go for it. I rolled 2 hits and a crit out of I think out of hand.
Nice.
Yeah, because I have no mods. And Malorus rolls 3 focuses.
Ugh.
And a blank. So she takes hit, crit. Doesn't die. And then I veteran tail gunner out the back, trick shot into Ember, roll 2 hits out of hand. Ember has 5 dice and rolls 4 evades.
Of course. What was the crit on Malorus?
I can't remember what the crit on Malorus was, but I don't think it mattered.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I actually can't remember. I legitimately don't remember it mattering at all, and I don't think I kill Malorus in the end either. But at the end of that round, I tick up to 13, and my opponent is at 8. So there's a 5 buffer, but I think I'm doing okay. So I've got some pretty obvious moves next round. The Vulture Droids do a 90-degree turn towards Ember.
Yep.
I do a 2 straight with the Gauntlet, just trying to get in between, so I can hopefully maybe shoot Malorus and the Silencer. Grievous does a 2 straight, and he's going to claim that top right objective. And then hopefully he'll live. But he's got full health, so he likely will.
Full health, impervium plating.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll be fine.
So randomly long planning phase because my opponent is desperately trying to claw us back. I win priority. And yep, the Vulture Droids just turn to face Ember. Vizsla does a 2 straight, clears the stress, flips his wings back into normal mode. Oh, that's something I did actually forgot. So when I forgot to. So when Recoil shot me last round, I rolled 2 dice. I shouldn't have, and that's why I've taken an extra. That's why I've taken an extra damage because I just said, okay, we'll pretend we'd gone too far by the time I noticed it. So I was like, I will just take extra damage.
Yeah.
And leave it at that because then nothing else changes. Because I rolled blank evade. And so I just said, I'll just pretend the evade was the one I didn't roll. I rolled a blank, and that makes everything fair. Because I didn't want to... Yeah.
Yeah, it's gone on the shield anyway, hasn't it? So it's not like a crit that would have changed priorities for other shots and stuff like that. So I think that's a fair way of...
And I didn't want to... It was one of those ones where I actually don't know what the rules are, but I didn't want to go back and redo it in the case he rolled worse, because then I'd feel even worse.
Yeah.
So I just thought, you know what? I'll just take damage.
Yeah, I think that's a fair way of settling it.
So yeah, Grievous does a 2 straight and claims the objective. Recoil does kind of what I expected him to do. He does a 4 straight, clears his stress, and he's looking at a boost to get range 1, but I don't think he's going to get it. I think he takes a target lock onto Grievous. And then Ember does a 2 straight into the jaws of death. Except not because he's a Baron, so he barrel rolls. Oh, no, sorry, 2. He target lock focuses. He target lock focuses the Howard Child. Because he's got cluster missiles.
Of course. Yeah.
Malorus does a 2 hard. What? Oh, it was Panicked Pilot. That's what the stress was. He does. Malorus does a 2 hard and I think clears 1 of the stress or keeps the stress. I can't remember. But either way, it doesn't do a whole lot. Ember shoots a cluster missile into the Howard Child prototype, gets hit crit, spends the lock for another hit crit. I roll single evade. The crit I take is structural damage. And then the cluster bounce into the Separatist drone doesn't do anything. Recoil, range 2, obstructed into Grievous. Hit, crit. I roll 2 evades and a blank. Solus 1 the blank into an evade, just to really rub salt into the wound at this point.
A little bit.
And then Vizsla shoots out the front into Malorus, range 2, I get a single crit, spend the focus for hit crit.
Yeah.
Malorus rolls nothing and dies.
Ah, you literally just said you didn't kill Malorus.
I thought I didn't kill Malorus. Then out the back into Ember, nothing happens. The Separatist drones shoot at Ember. I spend both calculates on Separatist drones attack for 2 hits. Ember gets 2 evades. Then the Howard Charl. Here's where I forgot to use the ability. The Howard Charl should have used his ability on the cluster missile shot into the Separatist drone to get a target lock onto Ember.
Yes, yes.
Either way, I roll 2 crits, and he rolls 2 focuses and a blank. Spends the focus token for absolutely nothing. But adding up the points, I am on 18. My opponent is on 9. I have 2 objectives, and Vizsla is looking at the 3rd objective. And there's very little way my opponent can stop me from getting 2 this round. So I take the no dying route to victory.
I mean, yeah. All you've really got to do is one hard Griever, so that's likely going to block any move that the Silencer's going to do to go up towards that and claim it. And then, yeah, I don't see how the BA gets into the middle one.
It'd have to be like a ridiculous 3 hard and just hope you clear.
Well, I just wonder whether you could 5 straight curve boost right up to that asteroid and maybe get range 1 of the end one.
But either way, it's pretty dicey.
Oh, for sure. And then you've got to take shots, but
yeah,
at that point it's kind of you've got to claim 2 or you lose.
I think at this point though, I can say that I do win this game. And I do go to the top 8. See, I rotate one of the drones, and I don't rotate the other one, just trying to cover the arcs. Grievous does a 1 hard and focuses. Recoil crashes into Grievous. Ember does a 4 straight, barrel rolls towards the center objective and claims it. Yeah.
Okay, that works.
Like, we already know I've won. We're just rolling dice for dice. I actually don't think anything happens as a result of rolling dice. Like, Grievous takes a shield. I do nothing to recoil. Vizsla takes some damage. I spend my charges to shoot back with a target lock. Like, I think I take off the shields off Ember and deal a damage, but that's it. Game over.
So maybe the course there with the Silencer is to shoot over the rock, go fast, and land the other side. But yeah, no, that was well played.
Yeah, and that was the end. I'm in the top 8 of the Kyber Cup.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
So we know you're going to finish at least 180 places above me.
Yeah, but I mean, this is like the best result I've ever gotten, pretty much. I think we can safely say this is better than winning the Tin Cup.
Oh, that hurts, Sam.
It's close, I know. But I think getting top 8 in 250 odd people is probably better than winning a 10-man tournament.
I mean, what did you do at Sith Taker Open? Top 16, right?
Top 16, yeah.
And that was in person. So that was a pretty good run. But yeah, no.
Steps on the rise. Well, except they're not actually, because
you're kind of just dragging them there.
Yeah, well, actually, interestingly, the top 8 of the Kyber Cup had all 7 factions represented,
and that's good. That's
actually insane.
Yeah, there's some good balance. There are still bits, or maybe not so much. There's good balance, but there's something in every faction that maybe is a little OP, which therefore means it's not OP. It's balanced.
Yeah, I mean, I've already. No matter how I end in the Kyber Cup, I've already, in my head, improved this list. To me, the Howard Charles are big. I replaced them with i3.
Separatist drones.
Yeah, 1 Separatist drone with a Discord, and I put in DFS 081 with, what they call thread tracers.
Yeah.
Because whilst I like the idea of the Howard Charles and energy shells, they actually just never get to use them.
No, I mean,
by the time I1 comes around and they spent their calculator, they're dead.
Yeah, we've reviewed a lot of your games and you don't fire that many of them, so
yeah. So for the tournaments that we might be going on the weekend, I'm taking this list essentially, except I'm replacing the 2 Howard Charles, which does pain me because I do love the Howard Charles prototypes. I like their ability. I just forget it.
That's fair.
But yeah, I've replaced them with a Separatist drone and DFS 081, whose ability doesn't matter.
You know that if you win this, then I'm gonna have to get a new co-host because you'll officially be out the mines.
It's so ironic that you've said that.
Or maybe I'll just get. Maybe I'll give you one more.
Knowing what we know at time of recording, it's so funny that you're saying that.
You know, I'm just going to edit this up. Yeah, because we're not supposed to know what we know.
Yeah, I know we're not supposed to know. Just to make him edit, I did in fact lose my top 8, guys. I've already played, and that's what we're reviewing next week. Where there's going to be some, I think there's going to be some serious discussion over a couple of turns. Now, I actually went back and looked through the recording after it was done. Be like, actually, now I looked back. Like, here are the turns where I made a decision, and I think it was wrong because of this. But that's for next week.
I'll be curious whether your decisions, looking back, are what I was thinking while watching. But yeah. Right, guys. On Sam's successful top 8, we will call it there. So thank you everyone for listening and watching. And we will be back with you next week.
Yeah.
So,
ta-ta.
I'll just say goodbye.